Dear students, I am Sarita, today presenting the concept Hindu marriage system in India. Marriage among Hindus, Muslims and Christians are different from one another. Here I would like to present the Hindu marriage system in detail. There are lot of marriage patterns are available in Hindu marriage system, but before getting to the actual topic, we need to know that all the social institutions are established to fulfill the needs of human society or human being. Yes, of course. Like for example, the economic institutions are established to fulfill the economic needs of human being. In that way, polity or politics is important to rule the human beings to achieve a harmonious society. So in that way, the human society needs to live together. Of course, it is inevitable because we cannot live independent in this society. Also, they depends on one another. So the system of marriage has been established by the human being to live together as a family to fulfill the needs of one another. So the system of marriage is a gateway of family, we can say. So as marriage is also one of the universal social institutions. Also it is established by the human society to regulate the sex life of man, and it is also to fulfill the needs of togetherness for the human society. As the definition has given by Gillen and Gillen, marriage is approved way of establishing a family of procreation. As I said before, it's a gateway for family and also to have a children to fulfill their needs. Of course, main important aim of one Hindu's life is to attain moksha. When you are having the family, when you are having the son especially, you may attain moksha. It is the belief is among the Hindus, we can say in another way. Also, the Hindu marriage is a duty, religious duty. It is not a contract. So there are lot of important purposes are there in the Hindu marriage system. Why? Because marriage is given higher priority by the Hindus. They believe that marriage is a religious duty and it is a sacrament and rather than a contract. Main important aim is Grihastha. We have 4 stages or 4 ashrama which is available in the Hindu social organization. That is Brahmacharya Ashrama, Grihastha Ashrama, Vanaprastha and Sanyashrama. In that, Grihastha Ashrama have a very important place and it is the stage Hindus given important to this stage. Why? Because getting married, having children, fulfilling the needs of family is the way to moksha that they believe. Also, it is unavoidable in this present society for an average Indian. No one can escape from this question, especially Hindu woman or a man. That is, when are you get married? When are you going to get married? Why you are being late to get married? Such type of questions. Of course, we cannot escape from the society. Everyone will ask you when you are being late to get married. So, also there is a short stigma is attached with the person who is not getting marriage on time or forever, which is practiced by the society to ask. It's a kind of duty for them to ask the question, when are you going to get married? The another one important concept or the term in the Hindu marriage system is Vivaha Samskara. It is nothing but carrying away, that is wedding lock or the wedlock ceremony which is available in the Hindu marriage system even before the 5th century of BC. 5th century BC it is also available, that Vivaha Samskara, so is carrying away. And of course we said that another term moksha, when you want to get moksha, you needs to get married, you needs to have a children, you needs to fulfill their need, so then only you can attain moksha. As Manusmriti said, he is a perfect man who consists of his wife, himself and his offsprings. So then only he will become a perfect or a complete man, they believe. The traditional forms of Hindu marriage. There are lot of forms of marriages available in the Hindu system. As Manu has mentioned the forms of Hindu marriage in following way. He has divided that marriage system into two types, prahasta, aprasthasta. Aprasthasta includes the four kind of marriages, Brahma, Daiva, Harsha and Prachapatya, and aprasthasta marriage have Asura, Gandharva, Raksha and Paisacha. We can see in detail in the forthcoming slides. Yeah, that is prasthasta form of marriages. This prasthasta form of marriages includes the, we said before that Brahma, Daiva, Harsha and Prachapatya. So what is this Brahma Vivaha? It is a kind of marriage where the father offers his daughter to a man of character and learning. So in this marriage, there are a lot of ornaments and assets are offered to a person as a gift by the father, that's the bride's father, in this marriage. So they are giving the assets and ornaments as a gift to that person who is the man of character. So that is called as Brahma Vivaha. The next marriage type are the form of marriages Daiva Vivaha. The father gives away his daughter as a dakshina to an young priest who officiates the yajna which is arranged by him. This form of marriage, the bride is gifted to a young priest on the occasion of sacrifices to God. So in the occasion of sacrifices to God, that girl, the bride has been given as the gift as a gifted as a dakshina by her father to the young priest is called as Daiva Vivaha. Next one is Harsha Vivaha. The father, in this kind of marriage, the father gives his daughter in marriage to the bridegroom after receiving a cow and a bull or two pairs of these from the bridegroom in accordance with the requirements of dharma. But in this case, don't confuse with the present form of dowry system, but it is a token of gratitude to the man, enable him to fulfill the Grihasthasrama. We have seen that Grihasthasrama performing that home kind of activities, that is getting married, everything, that is Grihasthasrama. In that you needs to hold dharma. So for holding the dharma or functioning the dharma kind of activities, the father is giving this kind of gift along with her daughter is called as Harsha Vivaha. The last one is Prachapatya Vivaha. In this kind of marriage, the father makes a gift of the daughter by addressing the couple with the mantra, may both of you perform together your dharma. That is, the girl is given as the gift with the clear understanding of that both of them are performing civic and religious activities together. So they are going to perform the civic or religious activities together. For that the father is making her daughter as a gift, and with the mantra, may both of you perform together your dharma through this marriage. That is very, very important. These are the four kind of prasthasta form of marriages. Next one is aprasthasta form of marriages. These also have four type of marriages like Asura Vivaha, Gandharva Vivaha, Rakshasa Vivaha and Paisacha Vivaha. Asura Vivaha. This type of marriage is one in which the bridegroom has to give money to the father of kinsman of the bride. That is, in this case of consideration, the money is the important form of marriage, important in this kind of marriage. So bride is almost in this marriage, the bride is virtually purchased for the money. So this type of marriage is one in which the bridegroom has to give money to the father of kinsman of the bride. Otherwise, we can think it in another way, that compensation for the girl. As far as that economic activities concerned in those days, those who are having more children or more daughters in their family, they had the privilege, or they felt very proud among the society. Why? Because they can earn more money due to their lot of children, or the having more daughters in their home. So that through that marriage, that person, that groom is taken away one girl from that family. For that compensation, they are giving the money to this kind of marriages. Also we can say in that way. And that next one is Gandharva Vivaha. This type of marriage is one in which a girl selects her husband by herself. In those days, in the earlier days, the Kshatriya have the practice to conduct the Swayamvara, where the girl is having the rights or freedom to select their partner, that is husband, by herself. That is called as Gandharva Vivaha. Next one is Rakshasa Vivaha. It is the capture of the bride by force. Here the bridegroom does not take the consent of the girl, but simply forces her to marry him. So, which is they are not getting the consent or the permission from the girl to get married. That is called Rakshasa Vivaha. The last one is Paisacha Vivaha. This also same like the Rakshasa Vivaha. In this form of marriage is one which the man seduces by force a girl who is sleeping or intoxicated or disordered in intellect. So both of them are not getting the consent or the approval from the girl. So they are doing the marriage, that is Rakshasa and Paisacha. So these are the four kind of Aprasthasta form of marriages. There are other kind of marriages, or the main forms of marriages also among the Hindus. The first one is polygamy. It is a type of marriage in which one man marries more than one woman. So it is a polygamy. So one man marries more than one woman is called as polygamy. The next one is polyandry. It is a form of marriage in which one woman married to more than one man. As we can have the example in the epic Mahabharata, Draupadi got married more than one man at a time. That is called polyandry. So one woman married to more than one man is called as polyandry. The next one is monogamy. It is prevailing in the society present days. It is a form of marriage in which one man marries one woman is called as monogamy. Next one is hypergamy or anuloma. This kind of marriages is a social practice according to which a boy from upper varna or caste or class marry a girl from lower varna or caste or a class. So where the boy from the upper caste or the varna marrying a lower caste or the varna is called as hypergamy or anuloma. The next type is hypogamy or pratyloma. It is a type of marital practice in which a man from a lower caste, class or varna marries a girl of a higher caste, class or varna. That is called as hypogamy or pratyloma. So it is opposite to hypergamy or anuloma. Next one is endogamy. It is a rule that a person has married within his or her group or varna or caste or subcaste. So in the name itself we can understand that endogamy within ourselves. So within the subcaste, within the caste, within the group, within the class. So equal status. So they are getting married is called as endogamy. Exogamy is opposite to endogamy. It is a rule of marriage according to which an individual has to select his or her partner outside his or her group. So again this exogamy marriages are classified into Sagotra exogamy, Sapravara exogamy and Sapinda exogamy. Some of the important aims also there in the Hindu marriage system. As we said already, they are supposed to get married, having the children, fulfilling their duties. Apart from that, three kind of aims are also there in the Hindu marriage system. Dharma, Praja, Rati. Dharma is, of course, we said already, that is holding the righteous or holding the truth in all kind of activities. When you are performing the duties in the family or performing the duties in the marriage, you need to hold the dharma. So the basis aim of marriage is dharma, for it necessarily involves the fulfillment of a number of moral duties. Praja, it is the desire to get issues or children is commonly felt by all the people. So Rati, the last one is, it is karma or pressure is given the least important in the Hindu marriage system. It is the least desirable aim of marriage, though sex is one of the functions of marriage. It is given the third place. So having the pleasure or the having the sexual relationship, procuring the children is the least important. The first important aim of the marriage is performing the religious duties in the family. So there are some recent changes or the trends also available in the Hindu marriage system. Due to the influence of industrialization, urbanization, education and legislations on marriage, the Hindu marriage has undergone vast changes during the recent years. The first change in the form of marriage is, that is the form of marriage. So we have seen the lot of type of marriages like prasastha and aprasastha marriage, or monogamy, polygamy, such kind of marriages. But nowadays only that one kind of marriage is available, that is a monogamous marriages, that one man marries a one woman. So the next one is change in aim or purpose of marriage. We said, as we said earlier, that dharma, praja, rati are the important aim, and the performing the religious activities are the important aim for the Hindu marriage system. But here the purpose of the marriages have changed from the performing religious duty to lifelong companionship. That is lifelong companionship for the male and female in that marriage relationship. So next one is change in the process of mate selection. So they are giving much importance to the individual interest and the preference rather than a family interest or the preferences. There is a number of marriages increases in the love marriage, also have showing that importance of giving individual interest. So next one is change in the age or age at marriage. That earlier days pre-puberty marriages have prevailed in the society, and also in a very young age they will get married. But nowadays post-puberty marriages or late marriages, or after getting the having the work or job, after attaining the job or attaining such kind of age, only they will get married, both men and women. So this the age at marriage is also have changed nowadays. And change in the stability of marriage. The next one is change in the stability of marriage. Of course, due to the legislative provision for divorce has virtually affected the stability of marriage. We can say in both way, that the stability of the marriage. For the small kind of reasons also they are getting divorced due to the provision of divorce for both. The next one is change in economic aspect of marriage. The practice of dowry is associated with marriage. Of course, we have seen that a bride's father is giving the gift and taken away by the groom in those days. But nowadays, there are, of course, obvious dowry system is available. That groom are expecting the money or any kind of assets from the bride's family instead of getting married to that girl. Also that economic plays many important role in the forms of marriage or in the functions of marriage. That marriage pattern, that spending lot of money for the marriages also have changed compared with those earlier days. The last one is an increase in the instances of divorce and desertion. The instance of divorce and desertions are on the increase. Yeah, we said before that provisions of divorce, there is no adjustment or the patience among the couples, and they are getting divorced very easily nowadays compared with the olden days. There are some legislations, acts also related to Hindu marriage. The lists are here. The Prevention of Sati Act 1829, the Hindu Widow Remarriage Act 1856, the Civil Marriage Act 1872, the Child Marriage Restraint Act 1929, the Hindu Marriage Act 1955, and the Dowry Prohibition Act 1961. These are all the legislations or legislative provisions are available for the Hindus, especially for the Hindus, to prevent sati or that widow get remarriage through this Hindu Widow Remarriage Act, and stopping or preventing the child marriage through this Child Marriage Restraint Act, and that giving lot of provisions and rights for the women through this Hindu Marriage Act 1955, and also of course that Dowry Prohibition Act is prohibiting the dowry system in the Hindu society. So these are all the acts related to Hindu marriage system in India. And thank you for your patient listening.